Now, before we get into this week's episode of Now About That with James and Sarah, I want to discuss our very first ad, Link. Unlike the traditional business card you have to throw out as you change companies, titles, and even states, Link is the new digital card that allows you to update your information as you progress through your career. With Link, you can share more than just your phone number and email address. You can include information like links to your social media, website, and even a podcast. There are tons of really great options on their website where you can choose from a traditional business card, plastic, wood, or metal, and much more. Personally, I decided to go with the keyring option that has an NFC chip and a QR code where anyone with a smartphone can scan and download my information. With Link, I am able to share my email address, phone number, and links to this amazing podcast along with our website. Follow the link included in the description of this episode and be sure to use the promo code NOWABOUTTHAT at checkout for 15% off whatever you purchase. Not only will you get a great deal, but you will also be helping grow Now About That with James and Sarah, the podcast where two friends talk about whatever. Now, on to this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. Today, Hello. Hello, welcome to another episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. I'm James.
I'm Sarah.
Whoopsie. Well, okay, let's start again. Hold on. Compose yourself, Sarah.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. I'm James.
And I'm Sarah.
And on this week's episode, we're just going to catch up a little bit, and then we're going to look at 10 of the best places to live abroad for Americans, because America currently is going to shit.
Has been going to shit for a while.
Well, yeah. But we were just going to catch up a little bit and see how things are going, and maybe do some 3 love-its and 3 shove-its, and figure out where's the best place to export to if we were wanting to leave the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sarah, how's it going?
It goes.
I will say we are recording on not our regular recording day because Sarah just she didn't feel up to it yesterday. And we're recording during the days, which is really weird because we do usually record at night.
That's true. We usually record in the evenings. It wasn't that I didn't want to.
I said you didn't feel up to it. Well, first I said you didn't want to, but then I said I changed it. I abridged my answer and I said that you didn't feel up to it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been kind of a weird week. I had my appointment with the oncologist, which was we won't say exciting because it wasn't exciting. It was awkward. But also, my favorite part about that is that on my paperwork it said diagnoses and it had, the endometrial cancer, the real name for it, something Sonoma. And then underneath it had morbid obesity. So I've been officially diagnosed as fat.
Which, I mean, honestly, if you're I want to say 20 pounds over the ideal weight, they consider that morbidly obese.
Yeah, the BMI scale is actually bullshit. It takes nothing into account, as far as your height and your bone structure and all that stuff. It doesn't take any of that into account. It doesn't take into account whether or not it's muscle either. So this could be all muscle and I would still be morbidly obese. Now, it's not all muscle because I'm fat as fuck, but beside the point. So anyway, and then of course, the fun thing where the resident couldn't find my vagina, which
as a resident, that's terrifying.
As a resident, that is terrifying. I agree. I'm just you've been doing this for a hot minute, my guy. Where I know where it is.
And I see your qualification. Maybe he's a homosexual, Sarah.
So?
But I mean, he is a doctor, so that's not really a good excuse. You're a doctor, sir.
But also, he could be a homosexual who sleeps with trans men and therefore would know, where a vagina is.
That's true.
I'm just okay, all right. But the other thing is that I also feel he just didn't use enough of the lubricant either. So I don't think that helped either. No. All in all, I had 5 people in the room staring at my cooch. That was
very awkward.
It was super awkward.
It's one person in the room looking at your lady bits is awkward. Let's add 2 more, and one of them that doesn't even know what to do.
Right.
Which, didn't you say one was an intern and one was a resident?
So yeah, so one was a first year medical student, one was a resident, and then there was the actual doctor, and then there was like a nurse, and then Horace was kind enough to go with me because Nick was out of town. So like it got very claustrophobic in there very quick.
But
Because they're small rooms too. And I'm just like, this is awful. This is awful. But anyway, all that we found out, because it wasn't even like a proper pelvic exam either. It was just like, we're just gonna feel things, see how everything feels. But primarily my options are surgery, surgery light, or I can do those endometrial biopsies every 3 to 6 months until such a time as I'm pregnant.
which it's basically like a hole punch in
Yeah.
your
And
cervix, right?
they don't give you anything for that either.
Yeah, which it's we've talked about this before. It's kind of hard to numb that portion of your body. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But they could knock me out for it.
well, yeah, but I don't know why they don't. I think there's a reason that they can't. But it is a little, yeah, it seems a little archaic to not be able to numb you or like at least, well, I was gonna say give you like what are those things called?
They could give me more than ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Like, here's the thing though, is like if they can like put needles into your gum, into your jaw to take out your teeth, they could put some numbing in there. Now, I'm not saying that I want a needle shoved up there either,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying anything would be better than like feeling them cutting something out of you.
I mean, I know this isn't anywhere close to what you're talking about, but when I went to have my abscess on my tonsil drained,
Oh
it's
yeah.
so gross. They didn't do anything for that. Like they sprayed some like topical numbing cream on it, and like he was like, it's gonna taste like bananas. It did not taste like bananas.
It never tastes like
It
bananas.
was like a weird aerosol flavor, and I was like, this is disgusting. But that's all they did, and then they like stabbed my tonsil with a suture, or not a suture, a scalpel.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Yeah, I remember when you had that done. Gross.
What a fun conversation.
What a fun conversation.
This is very medical today. Yet, like 2 weeks ago, we talked about women in medicine, and today we're talking about medical procedures. Hello.
There we go. There's the connection. But anyway, so other than that though, I didn't feel good all week though. Nothing, everything hurt, felt nauseous. I was throwing up on Wednesday. And it's like I'm just ready to not have cancer anymore. TBH.
Yeah, which is understandable. So last week, Ryan and I on Sunday we went to, well, I guess this week technically, we went to watch the new Scream.
Oh yeah, how was it?
It was good. I loved it. Like,
Nice.
I kind of wanted to like go back and see it again today myself, but it was really good. We were trying to figure out like this week, because tomorrow we're recording this on Saturday, the day
Mhm.
before Easter. So tomorrow will be Easter. So by the time everyone's listening to this, Easter would have happened. Ryan and I don't really do anything for Easter because, I mean, we're adults and our family's not around here, so we don't really go see family or anything.
Mhm.
So we were like, what are we gonna do? And we can't go grocery shopping because our grocery store is closed. They closed for Easter.
Mhm.
So I was like, well, do you want to go see a movie? And then like when I looked at the movies, I was excited because I thought there was Renault, I think is what it's called.
Renfield?
Renfield, yes, thank you. Renault is a vehicle brand. Renfield. So I saw that and I was like, ooh, we should go see this. And then when I looked at it, I didn't notice the dates. It was for next week, not this week. So it comes out on Thursday, this coming week, April 13th. So we can't go see it. I was excited because it does look really hilarious and like it'll be a lot of fun.
It does look like it's gonna be a lot of fun.
So I was like, well, I don't know what to do then, because we typically, so on Sundays are the only days that we both, Ryan and I, have off. We try and go and do something fun. So we'll go get like dinner, well, not dinner, we'll go get lunch somewhere, and then we will go to the grocery store. Or if we decide that we don't want to go to the grocery store, we will go somewhere and do something. Like we'll go to the beach and go walk around the beach, or we'll go to a movie or see a movie. So it's like, what do we do this week? So we have to figure that out for tomorrow.
Good luck. I believe in you.
We could just go watch Scream again. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
I was gonna say you could do that. You could. Are there no other movies playing right now?
No, nothing that sounds fun. Nothing that sounds good to me, anyways. I looked and it was like the new Mario movie is playing. I don't want to watch that.
You don't want to watch Chris Pratt?
No, let's see. What is playing? in our movie. It's called Blackstone Valley 14 Cinema Deluxe. No, Showcase Cinema Deluxe Legacy Place.
Sounds good.
There is Air, which is the movie about Air Jordans.
Okay.
I don't really want to watch. The Super Mario Brothers movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's A Good Person with Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, okay. I saw something about that.
1001 with Tabitha, I think it says Taylor. Yeah, no, Tiana Taylor. I don't know why I thought it said Tabitha. The Dungeons and Dragons.
I want to see that.
Honor Among Thieves. I do not care to want to see it. Not my movie. John Wick Chapter 4. Again, I haven't seen any of the other three. Didn't even realize there were 3 other movies. But there you go. Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Again, don't really care to see that movie. Scream 6 is the other one. And then Creed 3. Quantumania, don't really know. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the new Ant-Man movie. And then Avatar, Way of the Water. I don't want to watch any of those other than Scream. None of them sound good. It's like a bunch of Marvel-ish movies or Marvel movies, and then Scream, and that's it. And it's like, I'm not a big Marvel movie person. I couldn't care less.
That's fair.
It's never interested me. What does interest me is I started following this new TikTok account. And I think they have a podcast. Yeah, it's called I've Had It podcast. And it's just these 2 ladies. One of them's name is Jennifer Welsh, and the other one is Angie Pumps Sullivan. Like, her nickname is Pumps. I'm assuming because she wears heels all the time. Although every video TikTok that I've seen of them, she's not wearing heels, so a little misleading. Misleading, yeah. But it's basically these 2 women, and I think they're from Oklahoma, and they talk about what they've had that week. And one of them was people that back into parking spaces, and they were like, I've had it with people that back into parking spaces. Why do you need to leave that quickly? Are you on the run? It's like, and then they were saying like the same thing I say. It takes you longer, and you're in my way because you tried to back into the parking space.
Yeah.
So you're in my way trying to back in so you can leave faster, but it takes you longer to back in than it would if you were to pull in and then just back out.
Yeah.
This is like when you're backing out, you just turn your wheel back out and leave. When you're backing in, you have to like line up correctly and make sure you're not too close to one car, or if you are, you're an asshole because you don't want to fix it.
Yeah.
So I've never understood why people back into a parking space, and then it's like common around here. Everyone backs into a parking space because, and I asked my coworker Karen, was like, why do people back into a parking space? She said it's because it's in the winter, it's kind of a habit because it's just easier to pull out of a parking space.
Oh yeah.
Than to back out of a parking space. Which
I
could see, but I'm like, it's spring now, and it didn't snow at all this winter to amount to anything. Like, it did snow, but it was gone within the next couple days. So like, there was really no reason for people to back into parking spaces.
Right. People back into parking spaces here, but it's trucks.
No.
And it's always people who don't know how to park a fucking truck.
I always feel like if you can't park it, then you don't deserve to have it.
Yeah, I'm always like, if you can't, oh my God. People here can't drive trucks though. Like, it's true. It's like, and of course, everybody has a fucking truck. It's like everybody and their mother has a truck, but nobody knows how to drive the truck, and nobody knows how to park the truck. And I'm just like, bro, do not get a truck if you don't know how to do these things.
Sorry, I'm not flipping you off. That was just the finger I chose.
Sure.
What else? What other things have I found on TikTok that I really enjoyed? I started following this one called Old Things Never Die, where they restore a bunch of like old rusty things, so they'll take them and restore them.
Ooh.
And I like to watch that.
That's something Nick would be interested in. He loves watching restoration videos and cleaning videos and things like that.
And then Courtney Cox just joined TikTok not too long ago, and she's hilarious. I love Courtney Cox. She's funny. Let's see. She joined on March 26th.
Wow, she hasn't been on very long.
Her first TikTok was, so this is TikTok. I figured I would join, even though it might be getting ready to go away. It's So that was her very first TikTok.
Okay.
And I was listening to the This Might Get Weird podcast with Mamrie Hart and Grace Helbig, and Mamrie got hit by she didn't get hit by a car. She had an accident where she was sitting and someone hit her car. But the title of it is Mamrie gets hit by a car. It's like, why wouldn't you listen to that? It's insane.
My ex-stepfather got hit by a car. Like,
it
while he
didn't
was
do enough damage.
It didn't do enough damage. He had a couple of broken ribs. I feel like, that's some karma. That's some karma for the bullshit he put us through as kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, those broken ribs are some karma. I mean,
Meh. Do you want to get into this 10 places to live abroad for Americans?
oh, yeah.
From it's goabroad.com is the website. And then like the first part of it just says, it's no surprise that the number of Americans living overseas has risen over the years and is expected to continue. Intertwined national economies mean more opportunities for Americans to work abroad. So where do American expats go? Majority of U.S. citizens living abroad can be found in our neighboring countries of Canada and Mexico. That being said, hundreds of thousands of Americans have successfully ventured to far away countries such as the Philippines, Italy, and South Korea. And then it goes on to talk about that they've rounded up their top picks of the best places to live abroad for Americans that just need a freaking break.
Yep.
So the first one on the list, which I don't know that I agree with this.
I also was looking at this and going, okay.
So it's the first one on the list is the Czech Republic, which I've always understood it to be a little bit dangerous to go visit and live, especially like Prague, like that, and they're specifically highlighting Prague.
Right.
But like that part of like Eastern Europe, I always heard is not the best place to go.
Right. Apparently though, it's more in Central Europe than it is East Europe. Looks like it's bordered by Austria to the south, Germany to the west, Poland to the northeast, and Slovakia to the southeast.
Oh, maybe it's Slovakia I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it might be Slovakia. But I also had never really thought about the Czech Republic as being a place to go other than to see Prague, right?
Yeah. It says the pros for expats. Compared to most European destinations, newcomers can enjoy a cheaper cost of living in the Czech Republic. It's also the perfect home base for those looking to travel, as it provides easy access to Eastern and Western Europe. And then some of the cons: it's by far the most difficult aspect of expatriate life in the Czech Republic is learning the language. Czech isn't the most beginner-friendly for English speakers, and navigating housing and visa appointments may require some Czech-speaking assistance. Interesting.
Now, the next one, I actually have a friend who lives in this next one who has told me that I should come out there, which it's New Zealand. The pros for New Zealand are short-term work visas are easy to get, and they don't require an offer of employment before you arrive. Cons are the cost of living is about 10% higher in New Zealand compared to the United States, and American expats in New Zealand should prepare for much higher housing costs and should probably dine out less, even with an expected boost in income. Now, the thing is, though, is that when I was looking at going to New Zealand, is yes, the cost of living is higher, but they also pay you higher wages, so it balances out.
And this was in November, so it's pretty updated. Like the information is pretty updated. So I'm surprised that it's still, even with like the massive increase in the cost of living in the United States, I'm surprised it's still 10% higher as of November last year.
Right. Oh, my brother would love this next one.
The number 3 on their list is France, and some of the pros are the norm in France is 35-hour work week, longer lunches, and much more frequent holidays. And it gives you more time to experience museums and vineyards, even though you'll probably take more naps. And then the cons are the French aren't known for their love of foreigners, meaning your group of friends will likely be other international workers, which I have heard that, but it does say it takes some time for locals to warm up to you, though. And then work visas have to be organized by your employer, so you have to find work prior to your arrival. So that's
Yeah.
Also, learning French. I'm sure you'd have to learn French.
At least some, yeah. Which, I know some French.
Yeah. And most employers, if you're going to work in a country, you have to, the ideal is you have some knowledge of the language that they speak if they don't speak English as their first language, because the majority of employees that work there will speak that language. So
Right.
in France, they'd speak French. So if you're moving there, the expectation is you know some French,
Yeah.
especially if your company is going to pay you to move all the way to France and then pay for your papers and everything like that too.
Yeah. So they're going to set up your visa and everything. You have to prove that not only do you speak some French, but that you're worth the investment.
Yeah.
The next one is Germany. The pros are, let's see, the German workplace is very structured. There's not a lot of pressure to work overtime. You don't have to take your work home. You simply work hard and then you clock out. Cons are, generally speaking, the job market is very competitive for foreigners. To be offered a full-time position, your employer will need to prove that no other German could perform the same job. It's not a long shot, just a bureaucratic nightmare like most places.
Yeah, and I have to say, I don't know that I could get used to not taking my work home.
Because you're a workaholic?
Yes, I am. I am very much a workaholic, yeah. And I mean, I like my job too, so it's not difficult for me to
Right.
do it off the clock or not while I'm not at work. Like I have my I have my Outlook, which is our email, and then my Teams, which is our like chat function on my phone. So pretty much anyone can contact me at any time. And most of the stuff that I do, I can actually just do from my phone sometimes, unless there's specific things that I have to be connected to the network for. I
Right.
can usually do a lot of the stuff that I need to do from my phone. Is it fast and convenient? No. That
No.
might be where I might look into getting a foldable phone instead. I really want Apple to just come out with a like the Samsung Fold has, but I don't want the Samsung Fold because I'm getting used to working with the um, Android, and it's not that different from Apple, but
Mm-hmm.
it is quite different. Like it is different. Like there are some things that I prefer to do on my iPhone than the Android, but it's not drastically different. Like especially now that they don't have like the like you can choose whether you have the back button and the home button at the
Oh, yeah,
bottom.
yeah.
You can choose that now, or you can just use like the swipe features, which sometimes I've accidentally swiped backwards and I didn't want it to go back. Moving on. The next one is Thailand, and some of the pros for it is Thailand is highly affordable. However, your lifestyle will make a big difference on your budget. So, as expected, the cities are cheaper but less luxurious than the islands. And then some of the cons are the most common complaint is the Thailand's weather. The tropical paradise it may be, but Thailand is known for its humid heat and prolonged rainy season that can put a damper on day-to-day life.
I mean,
The humidity, I think I don't know, I could deal with the humidity because like the other day it was weird. It was like warm, but it was also cool at the same time and damp.
the next one is Costa Rica. And actually, Horace went to Costa Rica for his birthday this last year, and he was in San Jose. So the pros are Pura Vida is the collective philosophy for most Costa Ricans. It's the reigning philosophy that allows you to slow down, enjoy life, and relax. Probably the reason why Costa Rica is voted one of the happiest countries in the world, and the reason so many Americans love to live there. Cons include Pura Vida sounds really good on paper, but this relaxed approach to life and work can become frustrating for the American abroad. Services and government operations are lax, and prolonged power outages, unreliable transportation, and vague promises of tomorrow can kill that vibe.
I do have to say I work with a lot of people from Costa Rica, and while they have a really great work ethic and a really good educational system in Costa Rica, which is
Mm,
it's very interesting. Like a lot of the people that I work with are in their early 20s and they have master's degrees and it's like geez.
dang.
So I mean that is one thing, but it is kind of what they're saying. It is kind of very relaxed atmosphere. So you can ask them to do something and it may take them like a week to do something that if you ask someone else to do it, they would get it done like that day.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is it's kind of weird. It's good for them, but kind of weird for an American to notice it. Someone from America to notice it. They have a lot where they take time off. Like, and when I say time off, I mean like weeks at a time. and like I was working with someone asking them to do something for me, and they're like, well, I'll have to get it done before this date because I'm taking a 2 month sabbatical. It's like, what is a sabbatical? What do you do? What happens?
Well, let's see what a sabbatical
I know
is.
what a sabbatical is. It's
Well, what if
basically so in for Boston Scientific where I work, you can take a sabbatical, but it has to be you're doing something to improve yourself and then add more value to the company, basically. So like you could take a sabbatical to go take classes or something like that.
yeah, a period of paid leave granted to a university teacher or other worker for study or travel, traditionally 1 year for every 7 years worked.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And the pay, it's not 100% of your pay. I think it's like 75%, and then the longer you're off, it goes down. I think the least it can go is like 50% for my work.
Hmm.
And then the next one on the list is Canada, which is kind of the one that I'm thinking about moving to if
Right.
the need to flee the country is there. And then the pros are the obvious benefit for the Canadian relocation is how similar the daily life is to the United States. Canada and Americans actually share similar attitudes about religion, government, and individuality despite their face value. Some cons are Canada has far less consumer choice than we do in the United States, which can sometimes be frustrating shopping without any big box stores and having our usual Netflix choices cut in half. So I don't know well, this is from 2022, so
I mean, if you have a VPN, though, you can
yeah,
watch anything anywhere. So just have to have a VPN. No sponsors yet.
right.
The next one is where I actually wanted to go, which was South Korea. So the pros are South Korea is known for being extremely welcoming towards newcomers. Additionally, expats in South Korea have tight-knit groups and consistent meetup, whether you're in Seoul or the smaller cities. With a jam-packed schedule of events and festivities, South Korea is a guaranteed gateway to friends from around the world. The cons are South Korea and North Korea are technically still at war, despite half a century of ceasefire. South Korea remains very safe, but it's important to stay up to date with all the happenings in the region. One of the other cons, I would say, is if you live anywhere near a military base, which a lot of Americans tend to move closer to the military bases because there's more people there who speak English. But the problem is that South Koreans, a lot of them do not like the American military because the American military tends to not be very polite, and also learning Korean is hard. Like I can say that because I'm learning Korean.
How's that going?
Not very well,
Yeah.
but I understand some of it. It's just I'm angry because I'm not immediately perfect at it.
Oh yeah, I mean, the usual.
Usual.
Yeah. All right. The next one on the list is Sweden, and there's a natural ease to business. So the pros are there's a natural ease to business, transportation, and work-life balance in Sweden. Long holidays, clean cities, and accessibility make this a Swede sabbatical from the States a big plus. And then the cons are it's not cheap. The cost of the accommodation is exuberant, and common goods can be very expensive in cities comparative to the U.S. Although it's one of the best places for expats from America, be ready for some unfavorable exchange rates. I think Sweden. I would like to go visit Sweden. I don't know that I would ever want to move there to live.
Sweden's I've met a few people from Sweden. An ex-friend of mine, her husband was Swedish, now her ex-husband, and they have a very different view of things.
Yeah.
They're very different. But I definitely want to go there at least once. And then number 10, the last one on this list, is Peru. And the pros for Peru, Peru's a foodie's dream come true because there's all sorts of world-class restaurants, fresh ingredients, creative chefs, or street vendors. They have ceviche, stews, and of course avocados, But the cons are Peru's relaxed legal environment means corruption and fraudulent money is a common occurrence. And there are some neighborhoods where mafias reign supreme, and checking your bills and coins for counterfeit is a natural part of the transaction. Thus, extra caution is given when moving to Peru. So I don't understand why that would be a suggestion, because that seems like an awfully big con to me.
I think you see that everywhere, though. Like, probably not as bad, but you can see that everywhere.
That's true. I guess it really just depends on where you go.
Yeah. One thing I do want to highlight this before we move on is, and this is in the middle of the podcast when I usually do it at the beginning of the podcast, but I wanted to bring up our phone number.
Oh, yes.
So if you would like to send us something that you want us to talk about on the podcast, we do have a phone number that you can either text or call and leave a voicemail. The phone number is 765-557-4170. Or you can always, again, follow us on social media. We have our Twitter account now. We also have Instagram, and then if you wanted to email us, our email is our email is nowaboutthatpod@gmail.com, and our Twitter and Instagram handle is @nowaboutthatpod. So get your suggestions out there. I asked for people to let me know what they want to talk, they wanted us to talk about this week, and I got nothing. People liked the post, and that was it. It's like, what? Why are you liking the post? Just interact with it.
Don't just like the post. Tell us what you want to hear.
It's very odd.
I was gonna say I don't have any good suggestions. I do have a question though that maybe some of our viewers might also have a question about. How long is this season gonna be?
That's kind of none of your business.
I like how you're telling me that it's none of my business when I am the co-host of this show.
Yeah. No, I thought we could maybe take it until like the full year.
Our season is a full year?
Yeah. Like
Wow.
June. Like it end in June. End at episode 52.
Into episode 52. All
or
right.
episode 50. We might end at episode 50.
We have long seasons.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, that's true. We can do what we want.
Yeah.
It's our show.
And then I figured, so what we could do is probably take until our episode 50, which right now we're on episode, let's say 50, cut it off at 50. Right now this is episode 51 that we're recording. And then we will take like maybe a week or so, or 2 weeks, maybe a month, and then pick it back up afterwards.
Maybe.
Or if you're just getting bored, Sarah.
I'm not getting bored. I'm just curious. And I figured people out there might also be curious.
Maybe.
Or maybe not. Maybe nobody's listening.
I mean, that seems to be the trend.
You know, it doesn't matter. We're having fun.
Yeah, that's what we said. And we said when we started, it's like, we're not worried about making money I did do a lot of stuff to set up a business to make a money, but it's not that big of a deal if you don't.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell the viewers what your favorite part of doing the podcast is.
So I would say like my favorite part is us talking, first of all, like us getting together once a week and meeting up and talking and seeing how things are going. But like from the administrative portion, I really like updating the website and maintaining the website. That's a lot of fun. I wish we had more interaction with our audience. For those of you that are listening, we would love more interaction, whether that be in a direct message from Instagram or Twitter, or a text message to our new phone number, or an email. However you want to interact with us, we have multiple different ways of interacting. I have even been looking at potentially purchasing renting a billboard for a little bit. I mean, that's a lot of money, because it's like
that's a lot of money
for like a month. It's like $2,000, I want to say.
Jesus.
I have been utilizing the Instagram's boost this post option, where you can it basically turns it into a sponsored post. And it goes out to you can choose the demographic of people you want it to go to, and for it to run, like, you can choose how much you want to spend and how long you want to run, and the more you spend, the more people you reach, and the longer it runs, the more people you reach. Although I've noticed I've done it with 3 posts now, and when I looked the last time, it hadn't really driven very many people. So one of them I wanted it to drive more people to our website, and it didn't really do that very well. And then the other one, I wanted people to message me more, and it didn't do that either. So let's see. The ad that it's running right now is the one where I'm asking people to let us know what they want they want us to discuss on the podcast. It has reached, and it started on April 6th, so for 2 days it has reached 1,491 people. Of those, 8 people have interacted with it, and there are 4 likes, 3 shares, one of those probably from me, and 1 comment. and the comment is literally one person just saying, sponsor this on this
Oh yeah, I
this
remember you
Instagram,
saying.
and it's like one of those things where you have to pay them to sponsor you, and it's not like, it doesn't matter. And then for the past ads, there are, so I guess like one of them I spent, it was $35. Well, they both in $35, and for the post, it ran for 7 days. It reached 638 people and 6 likes with 1 share. And then people clicked on, because that was what I wanted them to do, was click on the website, and it take them to the website. 4 people clicked on the website. This says 31 or 14 clicks, and then this one says 31. So I know it doesn't really make sense to me. This one, it ran for 7 days again. 2 people liked it. 1 person shared it, which I believe probably was me again sharing. It reached over 4,000 accounts, 6,000 accounts technically, and then 30 people clicked the link, and 7 people viewed the profile, like viewed the Now About That production profile or pod. So I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of ways to get the podcast out and get more people to listen and more traffic, but again, it's not really that big of a deal. It just means whenever I submit the taxes for the business, I can just submit that it was a loss, which is fine. I mean, I'm not going into like monetary debt or anything like that. It's just I'm spending more money that I would other places on the business.
Right, that makes sense.
But I mean, most of the stuff that I'm doing is a business expense, so I could technically turn it in at the end of the year for taxes
There you go.
and get reimbursed. Well, it reduces my taxable income, basically.
Right. This has definitely been an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
I
saying
think
that like you're over it, Sarah.
no, I'm not over it. That's not what I'm saying. Why are you secretly wanting to stop doing stuff with the
No.
podcast?
But the way you said it though, you were like, it's been an adventure.
It has been an adventure. We've been
Yeah.
doing this for almost a year now.
April
Well, we have
28th
been doing it. Yeah, I was gonna
was the
say
first one.
we started talking about it in March.
Yeah, April 28th was the first time we recorded, so the
Yeah.
first post was in June.
Yeah. So like we've been doing this for a minute, and it's been very interesting. We talk about a lot of random ass shit.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's like, do we want to maybe change the podcast to where we focus on a specific topics, or is it okay with just, and this is something that listeners, if you would like to get involved and tell us where you want the podcast to go, please feel free to throw in your thoughts and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
I would
your
love to
thoughts
get
and
more
ideas matter.
Yeah, your thoughts and ideas matter, right? And I would love to get more people on the podcast. Like we had our one guest, Jiraiya from Now About That, or not Now About That, from Two Hungry Bitches.
She was amazing. We loved having her.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun having her on the podcast.
It was.
And I've reached out to a few, well, I've only reached out to Mercury Stardust. But if you know of anyone that you would like to reach out to, Sarah, feel free.
Yeah. I can do that.
I haven't heard anything back. I did send another, like a follow-up request to Mercury Stardust, but she is obviously busy. Did you see that she just started the pre-orders for her book?
Oh, I didn't know she was writing a book.
Yeah.
What? I'm behind. Granted, I will go on I call them TikTok droughts, where I won't go on TikTok for weeks because I just don't feel like it.
No.
So then I miss out on a lot of stuff, and then I'll come back and everything's super overwhelming, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So much happened while I was gone.
So do you want to talk about kind of maybe where you would like to move if you were to move out of the United States? I mean, you did say South Korea.
Right. South Korea is definitely one of the places that I wanted to go. I would also be willing to move to like Canada or to New Zealand. Honestly, I just want to travel the world, so I don't know that there's any particular place that I would just settle per se.
No.
But then the other thing is that despite the fact that the United States is on fire and Texas is also on fire, I don't know. I guess it's more just I love the people that I interact with here, so I'd hate to leave them all behind,
Yeah.
So if I could convince everybody to move with me, that'd be one thing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I would like to move, and I've said it before, I would like to move back to California. That's kind of like my ideal eventually, once, like, if I could find a job out there and live out there, just live out there instead of like be on an assignment, which it was amazing being out there on the assignment, but I want to actually live and not have to worry, like, figure out where I'm going after that.
Right.
I would love to move back to California, but outside of the United States, I think just because of how similar everything is, I would be most comfortable with moving to Canada.
Mm,
If I wanted to kind of move outside of my comfort zone, maybe somewhere like London or somewhere in the UK.
right.
I don't know that I would want to move somewhere where the language is that big of a difference.
Right.
So, like, if English wasn't the first language, I don't think I'm not comfortable enough to say I want to move somewhere where English isn't the first language. And it's not because I think English is better. It's because I don't know the other language, and
Right.
I know myself, and it's difficult for me to learn another language because I get very frustrated very quickly, kind of like what you were saying earlier with you not being really good right away at
Yeah.
South Korean. I get very frustrated. I am a perfectionist.
Mhm.
And I'm a control freak, so I like to be able to know what's going on. Would I go visit those places? Yes, I would love to go visit places that English isn't the first language. I would probably get a little frustrated with not knowing how to communicate with someone, but that would just be a visiting. Like, I would want to just go there for a week or something and
Yeah.
then come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
To move and live, I would have to go somewhere where English is the primary language.
Honestly, I would want to move someplace like Scotland or
Yeah.
Ireland and like have a cute little cottage
You
in
know,
like the middle of nowhere.
yeah, I would think, I mean, I like to think I would like to do that, but just from what I've understood, a lot of those places, like, they don't have central air, and they're heated by like wood stoves and stuff
Yeah.
because it's just expensive to get them and then maintain them. So I don't know that I could live there like that because I'm a spoiled American. I'm used to my air conditioning and central heating where I don't have to worry about all I have to do is turn the dial on the thermostat or change the setting on the thermostat
Right.
and not have to worry about getting disgustingly sweaty in the summer. I mean, the cold part I can live with because it's like I can just add more clothes or add more blankets.
Yeah. You can put on more clothing.
Yeah,
But you can only take off so much clothing.
that's my motto for life. I would rather
Yes.
be cold than hot because you can always add more clothing. You can only take off so much before it's culturally inappropriate.
Yes.
And in some places, a
Illegal.
felony.
Sir, why are
Depending
you
on where you
naked?
are.
Well,
I'm
you
just so
see,
warm.
I got too hot, and here we are.
Jeez. So we probably do a short podcast this week. Do you want to do 3 love it's and 3 shove it's?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to go first this week?
Sure. So my shove it, I would probably say terrible parkers. I hate terrible parkers. Drive me crazy. I said it before and I'll say it again. Those stupid cars with baby on board or baby in this bitch stickers on their windows or their bumpers. I
Uh-huh.
just want to run you off the road. And then, I mean, my biggest thing, like, Tennessee, get your shit together. What, like, really? Did you see that one of them, I think Justin Jones, he was removed, but the committee in his area is going to vote to put him back into his seat anyways.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
So,
I
like,
thought that he'd been removed.
as early as Monday, he could be back as a representative in the state house.
Oh,
So
well,
it's
that's
just a
good.
giant waste of time.
Yeah.
So those are my 3 shove-its. My 3 love-its. I'm loving this cell phone, like the Google Pixel 7 Pro. I've been enjoying playing around with it and getting to know Android because I haven't had Android since the Note 5 that I gave you
Yeah.
forever ago.
Forever ago.
It was like 2015 or 2016. It was 2016 because I got when I moved over to the training and development role. I got an iPhone.
Yeah. I knew it was a while ago.
Yeah, so I haven't had an Android or really experienced that much with an Android since 2016. And I did find out I'm loving that you can send text messages from a computer. You just have to use the internet.
Hmm.
So like you have the option of there's like a messages app that you have on the Android that you can share with a computer, and you just go to this website and then you have to scan the QR code with the phone, and it syncs the text messaging app with the website. So that was cool.
Yeah.
And then always my third love it is always going to be Bobo, my little man. He continuously makes me happy. We were outside earlier and there were dogs in the dog area, and sometimes he's like, okay, let's go in, that's fine, but sometimes he will pull me away from the dog area because he's like, hell no, I'm not dealing with all that energy right now, we're gonna go over here where I can be alone.
Yeah.
Which is a very strange interaction for a dog, because most dogs are excited to see other dogs and they always want to like go in and play, and Bobo's like, no, I don't want to deal with that energy right now. Can we not do that?
Well, he's a little old man.
But he's always been like that.
I
Even
know.
when he wasn't old.
I know, but I'm giving him more leniency now because he's a
Yeah.
little old man. Let's see. My shove-its are cancer and residents who don't know where a vagina is. And doctors who think that everything in the world can be solved by you losing a little weight, when that's not the case. I could lose all the weight in the world and it's not going to change the fact that I have cancer. Losing weight has nothing to do with my cancer. My three love-its are, let's see, I love the thunderstorms that we've been getting here recently. Texas doesn't get a lot of thunderstorms, so it's been really nice getting to have like some stormy weather to, chill and vibe with. I love you and Nick and Horace, and Bobby. I can't forget Bobby because Bobby's wonderful and amazing, and I love him. Oh my God. Speaking of Bobby, it's so funny because I asked Horace, because, it's Horace and Boris, and we call Boris Bobby. So I asked Horace if he wanted to be called Hobie. So it could be Hobie and Bobby.
Oh, God.
He was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, I would more ask him if he would like to be called Natasha.
Fair. But Nick used to have a cat named Natasha.
Yeah,
so,
I remember you saying that, yeah.
because we're old.
Well, what are you doing this weekend? Anything fun?
I don't think so. I'm spending the night with Nick tonight, and Horace and I are gonna watch that one. What is it called? Where the couple like raises a lamb.
Oh,
that movie.
yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember what it's called.
I don't remember what it's called either. Hold on. Oh, I guess it's just called Lamb.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna watch that tonight. We're very intrigued by this. But I think other than that, not a whole lot's going on. What about you?
Not much. I know, like I said, Ryan and I need to figure out what we're gonna do tomorrow. Figure out what places are open so we can go get lunch or something. And then figure out what to do. Like we may go to the beach or do something fun. Like I said, I don't know that watching a movie is kind of going to a movie theater to watch a movie because there's not really anything on that we want to watch. I don't know that is in the cards, but we'll see. So
Good luck.
Other than that, just editing the podcast. I have school stuff that I need to do. On Tuesday, I did bring it up to Ryan. I got an email the other day from the ACLU in Rhode Island, and they're having a postcard signing and ice cream social event on Tuesday in the afternoon. So in the evening, it's from 6 to 7. So I was thinking we might go and do that, but if I want to do that, then I have to write my paper beforehand and get it submitted before Tuesday, because that's when it's due Tuesday night before midnight. So
yeah, you'll want to get that done before you go out.
So I'll probably do that either tonight or tomorrow.
That sounds exciting.
The rest of my school stuff. Other than that, I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna listen to my spooky true crime stuff. Chill out. That's all I get done anymore. Listening to true crime and going to work.
Yeah. I mean, all I get done is watching YouTube, taking out Bobo, working in school.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And then podcast.
And the podcast.
Well, you want to call it a podcast?
Yeah, I think it's a podcast.
All right. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Now About That with James and Sarah. If you like this episode, please like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Please leave a review in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, as this will help get the podcast out to more people and help us grow. And then feel free to follow us on social media. Our Instagram and Twitter is at Now About That Pod. If there's a specific topic that you would like us to discuss on the podcast, feel free to email us at nowaboutthatpod@gmail.com or visit our website at www.nowaboutthatproductions.com and add your contact information into the Contact Us section with whatever you would like us to discuss. You can also give us a call or text with any questions you would like us to answer on the podcast. Again, our phone number is 765-557-4170. Thanks for listening, and we hope you have a great week, since this will be coming out on a Monday. Sarah, have a great weekend.
You too. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Happy
Zombie Jesus Day.
All right, you have a great weekend and enjoy, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.